Mary Meet YouTube, and this is actually going to be a different type of video. This is actually going to be family ghost stories that have been told through my family and just things that I actually want to share because I've found them interesting. I always have, and just first off, I heard a lot of these from my mother. Nearly all of them are from my mother, actually. Apart from my mom not being born or raised here in California, she was actually born and raised in Oregon. And she lived in a house that actually belonged to our family since she was a little girl. And some of these stories are actually going to be a little bit scary, but not all of them are, like this first one. The first one was when she was a little girl, she saw a man that wore coveralls, and he would wave to her from where he would see her in the window, because he was always in a certain area of the backyard. My mom only saw him a couple times, and he would wave to her, and it'd freak her out because she didn't know who it was. One day she actually asked her grandpa, "Oh, I see this man and he was waving to me. I don't know who he is." Mind you, not everyone in the house saw him. Only like one or two of her sisters saw him too. But apparently, from what her grandpa said, he knew exactly who this man was. He was a man that had worked on the farm, because the house used to be a farm, when her grandpa was a small boy. And that man actually died, and his spirit has been wandering around the area, and where he was actually more houses, because part of the land got sold, and so more likely those people were seeing him around too. But he wasn't creepy, he wasn't scary, he wasn't like trying to hurt anybody, he was just there. Just one of those spirits that were just there. Now, one of the more scarier stories that I actually have has to do with one particular house, and it's in Oregon, and I've actually been to that house. Wonderful, beautiful house, but no, I'd never lived there. I'm surprised I actually went into this house. This house was, way back, it used to be an old coach house. And my mom had moved out because she was already married and had kids at that time. So it was just the rest of her sisters that lived there. And it was a big house. It was a really nice house. But like I said, it used to be an old coach house way back in the day. There was an old stone well on the property that had been sealed up. Well, my grandpa and one of my aunts actually opened the well and let out what was ever in there, for one thing. There was, the most frequent one that was seen was an apparition of a little girl. And one of my aunts actually saw her and thought it was her daughter. And obviously it wasn't, because the little girl was saying, "Oh, I'll get it," and there was the sound of a bell, like someone coming in. And she's my aunt, so she's like, "I don't know." My grandpa never saw anything. He didn't believe in the supernatural or anything like that. Like I said, he and my aunt actually opened the well and boop, let everything out. Come to find out, this actually was a really, it could have been a really nasty situation. The house was right across from a church, and when my aunts did research on the house, this coach house used to be owned by a woman and her daughter. The little girl had been killed and thrown down the well, which turned out to be true, because when looking through the well, they actually found what was left of her bones, sadly. And the mother just disappeared. But the main factor in this whole story was that there was a man in a very Abraham Lincoln kind of top hat. And my mom actually saw him. He was, I think it was the one on my grandparents' anniversary, I think. And in the backyard, you have to go through the house to get to the backyard, because the backyard is covered in blackberry bushes and there's no way to get through from anywhere else except through the house. So some of my aunts and my mother were in the kitchen doing dishes and whatnot, and they see this guy in the backyard, and they were confused. And then they start freaking out, and they go out there with pots and pans and brooms and stuff to get the guy, and then he's gone. And they realize, wait, there's blackberry bushes back there. How can someone get back there when they would have to go through the house to actually get through there? So that's one of the first sightings of him. Then this spirit actually was a very malevolent spirit, because it had actually attacked two of my relatives, and saying they're evil and tried to choke them, and then that they would freak out and he would go away. He followed my mother home here to California. She saw him at the foot of the bed, and she freaked out, turned on the light, he was gone. He even got into one of my brother's rooms and scared the ever-loving anything out of my brother. And he flew out the window and went bye-bye, and we've never seen him again. I've never seen him, but he was gone. And, let's see. Then, when more information started coming out, I talked to one of my cousins who actually was over there. Come to find out, there was a tunnel leading from the house and the church under the road. And there was, like, books and chests and just other things under there. And also, like, weird cells that were under there that like to keep people in. And, but all that's been sealed up. My cousin, who was actually very, spiritually in tune, actually, like, was down there for a little bit before they closed it, and she would hear and see shadows and just, like, really freaky stuff. And, my mom would hear things when she was younger. A couple of my aunts would see see things. My mom saw things, and just all that kind of fun jazz. I'm actually going to be doing another video about my own supernatural experiences. Probably not today, but I wanted to get this out because it's some, like, family ghost stories. I just tossed my pen. Why not? And I thought you guys would like to know about them, even though there are only, like, a couple. But I thought you guys would like to know and be very interested in it. And if you want to know what happened when I went to the spooky house, as we like to call it, then I will let you know in that video. So, blessed be, and I'll see you in the next video, guys. Bye!